बारात की तैयारी हो या रिसेप्शन की, दूल्हा हो या उनके यार, अब हर जश्न और ईद और त्योहार की तैयारी होगी सफा गारमेंट्स के साथ। मेंस एंड किड्स एथनिक वेयर पर 25% तक की छूट हासिल करें। सफा गारमेंट्स, रोली चौकी एक्स रोड, हैदराबाद।
Very good afternoon. This is Srinivas Rao, Director of Sri Abhida Colleges in Tapur. So, the students are approaching the exams very soon. There are various entrance examinations like Telangana State MCET, followed by NEET entrance examination, followed by JEE advanced examination. So there are various entrance examinations. They are coming very close. They are approaching very close to the students. So people who are preparing for the past 2 years, for the past more than 1.5 years, so they would have gone through proper plan, proper scheduling. They would have gone through proper revision. So those students, they have a good probability of cracking that exam because they utilized wonderful time. But particularly the students who are preparing for short period. So some students, unfortunately, due to lack of proper guidelines, proper awareness how to use the time, and due to lack of proper faculty, proper subject knowledge, some students are not having. So those students, after completion of their class 12th board examinations, usually in the month of March, they will get realized the importance of the coming entrance examinations like TSMCET or like JE Advanced or JE Main or maybe kind of NEET entrance examinations. So for that kind of students, my advice is that you guys are hardly having very limited number of days in the hands. Suppose when it comes to NEET entrance examination, the exam is going to be conducted in the month of May, I think on 7th of May. We are not having hardly 3 weeks of time. So within that short period of time, how to prepare? So my advice is don't go through all the theory of various chapters. It's not a good idea touching all the chapters and going through each and every line given in the textbook or maybe going through any question bank. It's not a good idea. The better way is go through the synopsis. Do not spend more than 30 to 40 minutes time upon a single chapter. Go through the synopsis, followed by just go through the previous NEET entrance examination model question papers and prepare those question papers, solve those question papers based on the time frame. So it is important to realize any entrance examination is a time based one. When it comes to NEET entrance examination, there are 180 questions given and you will be given 180 minutes. So 1 minute, one question. Within 1 minute, how to solve that question is the most important task. So even though you are learning subject in a good way, but if you are taking more than 2 to 3 minutes time to solve a single question, that definitely will not help you in the exam. So that learning knowledge is not the matter. Reproducing the same content within time is the most important thing to crack NEET kind of entrance examinations. So that to give your best within this short period of time, my advice is just go through the synopsis when you go through every chapter and practice model questions based on the time frame. Make sure that there are some theory based questions will be given in out of 180 questions. First try to attempt all the theory based questions because a theory based question can be solved within 20-30 seconds, so you can save your time and keep all the questions at the end of the examination to solve at the end of the examinations, like the questions which need to be solved like numericals mostly in physics and some questions from chemistry. So like that, if you plan accordingly, first attempt all the theory model questions, followed by a bit easier questions when it comes to the numericals, followed by complex questions. Complex questions in the sense which take more than 2 to 3 minutes to solve them. So follow that order. This is one way of utilizing time. This is for NEET entrance examination. When it comes to MCET entrance examination, I think in Telangana state, the MCET entrance examination will be started from 12th May. Again, we are not having more than 3 weeks. So within that short period of time, again more or less, MCET and NEET, they both are having similar models. MCET has around 160 questions and 180 minutes will be given. So that there also speed is required. You will not be given more than 65 to 70 seconds to solve a single question. So there again speed is important. Again, when it comes to MCET, the standard of the question is not so complex. More or less either easy questions or moderate level questions will be given. In fact, you need not to go in depth when it comes to subject. It is enough to cover all the surface level subject from the textbook itself. So go through the synopsis again. When you go through every chapter, don't get into the depth. Do not solve any complex model questions. It's not required. Get clarified from all the theory as quickly as possible. Thereafter, start solve many model questions, particularly based on the theory. When it comes to mathematics or physics or chemistry for all the MPC students, when it comes to BPC students, biology, physics and chemistry. So that this is the advice to all the MSET entrance and aspirants. And when it comes to JEE Advanced, the story is a whole different game. About JEE Advanced examination. It is 160 minutes. Yes, definitely. No, we advise our students, we guide our students how to solve all the 160 questions within 180 minutes. Their time strategy is very important. It's not like, when the student is practicing during the practice sessions, suppose a student is taking 3 minutes time to solve a single question. So he is training his brain to solve a question within 3 minutes, not within 1 minute. So he is not training his brain in a proper way. So we'll tell them, try to solve within 50 seconds or 55 seconds or sometimes 40 seconds. So when a student is putting 3 to 4 minutes time when he is practicing, suddenly he cannot, solve the same question within 60 seconds in the exam. Exam practice is a quite essential thing that we train our students. That is where success meets.
Hello everyone, my name is Dilip. I'm the Chief Academic Advisor at Sri Abhidha Colleges and I also teach physics. So like my friend just mentioned how to prepare especially for MSET NEET exams where time is a very big constraint. You have to maintain your time very well and you have to manage and your strategy very well. But when it comes to advanced exam, the things are slightly different because in an advanced exam you hardly get 18 questions per subject and you have plenty of time that is available. So in especially in the advanced exams, it is not really about the time, it is purely about the subject. How deep do you know about your subject? One important thing that students should understand is in the advanced exam, you don't need to attempt the entire paper. If you clear 40% to 50% of the paper, you'll easily get into IITs. That is one point people should understand. If you are clearing 100% of an advanced level paper, you are a whole different student. So we're not really talking about that case. We're talking about cases where you just need to clear 40% to 50% of a paper, and that would be great. So to do that, you need to figure out which topics you are strong at and which topics you are weak at. Since you already prepared 2 years for the entire preparation, now it is the time that you can actually tell which topics are strong and which topics you are weak at. Especially for physics. Recently, I've talked to my students and I actually made a list of topics where they're really strong at. If there is a topic which is where you are weak at, I suggest you don't touch the topic at all at this point and only go to the topics which are really strong at. Keep on practicing them. When it comes to practice, I can suggest you even some books also where, especially for physics, I can suggest you some books like H.C. Verma and D.C. Pandey, everybody practice. There are some books like Irido and there are Arihant DPP series books. I seriously suggest these books where you can prepare and get into a lot of depth when it comes to the subject. So once the subject is very clear, you make sure you're not committing any silly mistakes since you only have 18 questions and out of 18 questions you're only clearing 9 questions. So you need to make sure which questions you are supposed to attempt. You have to have a very good clarity. Once you have that clarity, you need to make sure those questions are properly done in the exam. So to that extent, to have a clarity to that extent, you have to practice the subject in a whole different depth. And we suggest that a lot in our campuses to get the subject level in our whole different level. And also, I see a lot of students struggling at these points, especially when it comes to getting to questions that touch your ego. You open a question, the question is difficult, but it seems like it is coming for you. Don't get stuck on those kind of questions. If you find a question that feels like coming but it takes a lot of time, leave that question towards the end of the exam. Make sure you're only attempting questions that are easy in the beginning of the
सफा गारमेंट्स, बारात की तैयारी हो या रिसेप्शन की, दूल्हा हो या उनके यार, अब हर जश्न और ईद और त्योहार की तैयारी होगी सफा गारमेंट्स के साथ मेंस एंड किड्स एथनिक वेयर पर 25% तक की छूट हासिल करें। शेरवानी सिर्फ 1800 रुपए में, कुर्ता पैजामा, पठानी सूट, मेंस सदरी, अरबी तोप, जोधपुरी, मेंस ब्लेजर, छोटे बड़े बच्चों के कपड़ों की कंप्लीट रेंज भी मौजूद है। एहराम भी मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब है। अनलिमिटेड ब्रांड्स के फैब्रिक की कंप्लीट रेंज। हमारे यहाँ सिर्फ 8 घंटे में स्टिचिंग की सहूलत भी मौजूद है। सफा गारमेंट्स, टोली चौकी एक्स रोड, हैदराबाद।